right, we're gonna talk about temperature of the planets. So, which of these terrestrial planets, terrestrial, we're talking about these right here, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, which of these do you think is the warmest and why? Which one do you, logically, which one of these would be warmer? Mercury, Venus, Earth, or Mars? Which one logically, just first glance, which would be the warmest? Which one? Mercury, okay. Any other answer? Everybody agree that Mercury probably is the warmest because it's so close to the sun?
Yeah.
What would be the second, what do you say there, Terry? Lee? Okay, you say Mars might be the warmest that's out here? Okay. Anybody, any other answer? Okay, let's look and see. Well, let's look and see. Okay, so the temperature of planets. So most people guess Mercury is the warmest due to its proximity to the sun. It is, it's the closest to the sun. While this is a very good scientific guess, and that was a good guess, Venus is actually the hottest. Venus is the second one. Okay, and we'll explain why. Okay, so, and Venus actually has a temperature of over 800 degrees Fahrenheit. So think about the oven. You open the oven, it's like 500 degrees or 400 degrees if your parents are baking a cake, and how hot that is. We'll double that. And that's how hot it is on Venus. Okay? Venus. So what do we know about Venus? So we talked a little bit about greenhouse effect when you were in 6th grade. We're going to talk a little bit more about it now. So this is why Venus is hotter. Okay? It has to do with greenhouse, what's called the greenhouse effect. So the atmosphere on Venus also creates the atmosphere around Venus, right? The Earth has an atmosphere, we talked about that. Okay, so the atmosphere on Venus creates a greenhouse effect, trapping CO2. What's CO2? What?
Oxygen?
It's carbon what?
Dioxide.
Dioxide, right? Or dioxide, you can say it either way. You're correct.
Dioxide.
Carbon dioxide, and what does dioxide mean? Look here. To get carbon dioxide, you have 1 part carbon and 2 oxygen, right? Dioxide, that's 2 oxygens. Okay, kind of goes with our bell word today, doesn't it? Di. Okay, so the atmosphere on Venus also creates a greenhouse effect, which in turn raises the temperature on Venus. In fact, the atmosphere on Venus contains 96% carbon dioxide. 96%. Okay? The CO2 in Earth's atmosphere is only about 0.04%. So if you were somehow managed to land on Venus, and you can't do this, but if you managed to, you couldn't breathe the air because it would be poison. Okay, greenhouse effect. So even though Mercury is the closest planet to the sun, Venus is the hottest planet in our solar system. Now the theory is that Mercury's so close to the sun that the sun's heat literally keeps that greenhouse gas from developing, okay, because of the temperatures on the planet, okay? Okay, so let's look right here. Let's look at the gas giants. Jupiter, Saturn, here's Jupiter, there's Saturn, there's Uranus, and there's Neptune, are called the gas giants. These are the gas giants, right? And these planets are largely composed of gaseous materials and are significantly larger than the terrestrials. You can see that picture there, right? We've talked about it ad nauseum. Okay, so here's your first question. Which of the following do you consider celestial bodies? How about stars? How about planets? How about asteroids? How about all the above? What's your answer? Mark your answer. Which do you think of these are celestial bodies? Mark your answer. A, B, C, or D. I can tell you this, there's more than one. There's more than 2. There's more than 3. Well, there are 3, so mark your answer. Ask yourself, are stars celestial bodies, are planets celestial bodies, are asteroids celestial bodies? And then make your answer, make your choice, okay? Everybody got an answer? That should be an easy one. Okay, look right here. Which of the following planets qualifies as a gas giant? Would that be Mercury or Neptune? Which one of these qualifies as a gas giant? Would that be Mercury or Neptune as a gas giant? Mercury or Neptune? Mark your answer. Everyone have an answer? Okay. Okay, let's look right here. Blank is the largest planet in our solar system. Is that Jupiter or Saturn? Jupiter or Saturn is the largest planet in our solar system. Based on the pictures that we just saw there, you could tell there. Which one was the biggest? Was that Jupiter that you saw, or was that Saturn that was the largest planet? Was that an easy one? Next question. Okay, so let's talk about Pluto. Oh, poor Pluto.
Oh.
Right now, Pluto is considered a dwarf planet, but I've read recently that scientists are rethinking that again. They're rethinking it. Whenever I grew up, I was taught there were 9 planets in our solar system, not 8. You guys are being taught there are 8, right? Because of this. So many people used to believe there were 9 planets in the solar system, including Pluto. Pluto was downgraded from planet to dwarf planet in 2006 when new information came to light about it. You remember those 3 criteria? They have to orbit a star, they have to be able to put themselves into a ball with gravity, right? Create gravity. Well, Pluto did that. They did both of those 2, but when they looked on the back side, look here, here's a picture of, here's a probably Hubble telescope or something. A picture of the back side of Pluto. Look here. And so what do you see there? Looks like somebody took a big bite out of the planet, right? And so Pluto was downgraded in 2006 because it didn't meet one of the 3 criteria. Okay, so which one do you think it was? It could not clear its orbit, right? Because something crashed into it, looks like maybe multiple times. Or something huge crashed into it as well.
Like meteor?
Like a meteor, yeah, or an asteroid.
Yeah.
Asteroid or even a comet.
Or like a man-made, like you know, like how Venus has like those like metals like surrounding it. Like what if one of those like drifted off and like hit it?
Could have been, yes, could have been. Okay, so this is why Pluto was downgraded to a dwarf planet, is because of that right there. Scientists say nope, it cannot clear its orbit of other objects, and there's evidence of it right there. Okay. Okay, so what makes an object a dwarf planet? Well, look right here. Again, an object is considered a dwarf planet if it can only meet 2. So it orbits a star, it orbits the sun, right? Pluto does. Its gravity holds it in a spherical shape. It is kind of round. But it cannot clear, that it couldn't qualify here. It can't clear the neighborhood of its orbit, okay? Otherwise, whatever it was wouldn't have crashed into it, okay? Okay, so let's look at Pluto and Eris. What the heck is Eris? Anybody heard of Eris?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's find out here. So Pluto was downgraded to a dwarf planet because it does not meet the 3rd criteria. In other words, Pluto is not the dominant body in its orbit. Pluto is a small kid in the crowded hallway at school. Remember we did that illustration of the football player going down the hall, the big football player versus the little kid trying to get down the hall? Well, in 2005, an object that was larger than Pluto was found. Larger than Pluto. And the discovery of this body, named Eris, and there's a picture of it to the right there, aided in the demotion of Pluto. Okay, so right around Pluto there's this Eris, and Eris is larger than Pluto. Let's see what happens. Well, let's look right here. Dwarf planets in our solar system. Okay, there are 5 known dwarf planets in our solar system, and they're listed down here, the year that they were discovered. Ceres was discovered in 1801. Pluto was discovered in 1930. So up until 1930, there were 8 planets, right? According to, and then there's Hama, 2004, then my favorite planet, Makemake, 2005, and then also Eris in 2005. And probably you're able to find these because of the advance in technology with telescopes and stuff. cameras, video, and so on. Okay. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Ceres. Look at Ceres now. Look at Ceres here.
It's a really pretty planet.
It's a pretty planet, isn't it? Okay, so besides Pluto, the most significant dwarf planet in our solar system is Ceres, and Ceres resides in the main asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. So just on the other side of Mars is Ceres, okay? Between Mars and Jupiter is this asteroid belt, right? So it was discovered in 1801 and was labeled as a planet, and it kept this title for nearly half a century, so until about 1850. Before being deemed a large asteroid, and now we recognize it as a dwarf planet. Now we're going to figure out the difference between an asteroid and a dwarf planet in a little bit later, okay? Here's your question here. Okay, so here's our question, number 11. So why was Pluto demoted to a dwarf planet? Was it that Pluto turned out to be a moon rather than a planet? Or was it that Pluto was unable, this is a misspelling here, this should, boy, my dry throat. Pluto was unable to clear its orbit out of the path of its orbit because of its size. Okay, so A or C, mark your answer. Mr. Hughes is going to get a drink of water while you're thinking about that one. Everybody got an answer?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody got an answer?
Yeah.
Everybody got an answer? Good. Good. What do we got up here? What's all these up here, dude? Let's click out of those. Or is that those are your shortcuts, aren't they? Yeah, that's good. What do we got here? Got an answer? Good. Sophia, you with me?
Yeah, already.
Okay, you got an answer? Good. Got an answer there, Iris?
See it.
Okay, so let's move on here. Okay, we're gonna just move on from here. We're gonna move on from here. We're gonna move on from here. We're gonna move on from here. We're not gonna look at these right here, because this goes along with an activity that we're not doing. Okay. Which planet has the longest revolution? Now I'm going to give you a little hint here. It's going to be the planet the farthest out from the sun. Okay, which one of these planets is farthest out from the sun? Is it Uranus or Neptune? G or H?
Wait, Uranus?
Ooh, I know.
Well, Uranus or Neptune, which has the longest revolution?
What did you say?
What's the matter there, Lee? You got an answer for me for number 12 here? I'm gonna need an answer here in a second.
Uranus or Neptune?
Well, mark your answer, G or H. Okay? G or H. I'm gonna move on here. Let's see what time it is here.
8:55.
Okay, I wanna take a break here before we get too far. Okay? Everybody got an answer here? I'm gonna move on here. Okay, which planet has the shortest revolution? Take your hint again, which is closest to the sun? Would that be Mercury or Venus? Mark your answer. The closer they are, the shorter the time that it takes to get around. The farther away from the sun they are, the longer it's gonna take to get around the sun, right? Does that make sense? Okay, so everybody got an answer, A or B?
It's literally all in the bowl.
Okay.
Stuff is in
Okay, here's number 14. Which has the shortest day? Which has the shortest day? Which planet has the shortest day? Would that be Mercury or Venus? Mark your answer. Mercury or Venus, mark your answer. It's okay to be wrong, it's not the end of the world. Everybody got an answer? I'm moving on. Which planet has the longest day? Choose your answer. Is it Uranus or Neptune? Mark your answer.
What?
G or H? Mark your answer.
Oh, G or H?
Mm-hmm. Is it gonna fit there, Lee? It should. It should fit. You can move over to that other chair if you need to. Okay. Which planet is the largest? Is it Jupiter or Jupiter or Saturn? Which planet is the largest? Is it Jupiter? I'm sorry. Is it, yeah, Jupiter or Saturn? E or F? Mark your answer. Everybody got an answer? Okay.
You gotta tell us the answer.
Which planet is the smallest? Is it Mercury or Neptune? Mark your answer. Which planet is the smallest? Mercury or Neptune?
Wait,
Hmm?
is it, wait, you said like A and H?
Yeah.
A or H? Yes.
Okay, I wanna know.
Which is the smallest planet? Okay. Which planet has the most moons?
Ooh.
We're gonna cheat. Oh, did Mr. Hughes say we're gonna cheat?
I know
Yes, we
exactly
did.
what you're talking
Oh.
Leave that one blank, we're gonna talk about that one later, okay? Cause we really haven't talked about this, so I'm not gonna have you answer that question, we'll talk about that here shortly. You at home, don't answer that question, or you can go back and look, or you can Google it actually. Matter of fact, go ahead and Google it, just Google this, which planet has the most moons? Type that into your Google Chrome. Ask that question, I don't see anybody typing, you should be going into Google.
Wait.
about.
Go into add a tab, add a tab.
Jupiter has the most moons.
Don't keep it to yourself, don't tell anybody, keep it to yourself, which has the most moons, just Google that. I think it's Saturn, but I could be wrong. Mark your answer, and we're gonna, and then, go Google it, and then mark your answer, and then we'll move on here. We're almost done, we're gonna stop this here shortly. Which has the least moons?
It's easy.
That's an easy one.
It has the least moons?
The least moons, yes, which has the least moons? You can Google that one. We haven't talked about it. You can Google it.
Okay, found it.
Okay, we're gonna stop right there for the day. Tomorrow, we're gonna talk about the distance between the planets, okay?